video. Today we're doing something different. We just hit 10,000 subscribers here on this channel. It's been a little over a year since I started this channel, and to get to 10,000 subs in just a little over a year, I'm super grateful. Appreciate everybody here that has subscribed, hit the like button, commented. If you've tailed any plays throughout the last year, let me know in the comments below right now and drop a like on this video. But I'm gonna do 4 plays today, you guys. Because we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm gonna do 2 MLB plays and 2 WNBA plays in this video. Should be a little bit of a longer video here, but I did want to kind of celebrate 10,000 subscribers with a 4-play video. But yeah, let's get into it, you guys. Again, I'm not a gambling expert, not financial advice, simply just plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully give you guys some insight and analysis to then make your own player prop decisions here. Again, no one's pressing submit on this parlays other than yourself. There's the Discord link in the description. The main server is completely free. Also, the Patreon link is there as well. But let's get into it, you guys. 2 MLB plays, 2 WNBA plays. I'm going to do the 2 MLB plays first here. But again, all I ask is just drop a like on this video, guys, for 10,000 subs. I really, really appreciate everyone. But yeah, let's get into it. The first one is going to be both strikeout props here again. The first one is going to be Matthew Libretour. I'm going to be fading him under 4 strikeouts. Now, last night, we cashed on both the MLB plays. We took the under on Adam Wainwright, and then we took the over on Braxton Garrett strikeouts. But we took the under on Adam Wainwright's 4 strikeouts, and I'm going right back to it here. Cardinals pitcher versus the Rangers. So Libretour, he's only hit this one time this season. He's only made 3 starts. His last 2 starts coming against St. Louis and Cleveland, he only had 1 strikeout and 2 strikeouts. Had 6 strikeouts here against Milwaukee earlier in the season. Milwaukee, we'll get into that in a second, but let's take a look at a few things. So Matthew Libretour, this is his game log in his career. He's a younger pitcher here, left-handed pitcher, by the way. And in his career now, he's made, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's made 12 starts. He's only hit the over on this in 3 times. He's gone under this in 9 of 12 starts here. Obviously, there's some starts here where he got limited work, but he's been getting kind of shelled, right? I mean, 4 earned runs, 2 earned runs. Even dating back to last season, he had games of like 5 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 3 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 4 earned runs. So I don't think he's really a power pitcher. He's not like a pitcher who's going to just strike a ton of guys out, like a young pitcher like a Spencer Strider or anything like that. And specifically left-handers versus the Rangers. So since May 1st, the Texas Rangers are only striking out 13.5% of the time versus lefties at home. 13.5%. That is so low a strikeout rate against left-handers at home. We take a look at their batting average. They are hitting .354 as a team versus lefties, with, again, the 3rd highest slugging percentage, the 5th highest OPS versus left-handers, and again, the absolute lowest strikeout percentage against lefties this season. Now, going back to Matthew Libretour, earlier this season, like I said, he had 6 strikeouts against Milwaukee. And if we take a look at this, Milwaukee has the highest strikeout rate against left-handers. So against a 33.7% K rate team of Milwaukee, and that was a home game here for Matthew Libretour, he had 6 strikeouts. Now, expecting him to get more than 4 strikeouts in a matchup with a team that only strikes out 13.5% of the time against lefties, I just don't think that's going to happen here. Matthew Libretour, he's got a super tough matchup, like I said, and he's listed at 3.5 on most sports books, right? We take a look here over on Outlier. Again, Outlier, best research tool in my opinion. There's a link at the top of the description of this video. You get a 7-day free trial with Outlier, and their mobile app is, again, 10 out of 10. This is the desktop site, but their mobile app, you guys, highly recommend. So he's listed, you can see here, 3.5 Ks is what he's listed at. And if we just bump this up to, like, for example, right, we need the push potential, or the push potential is at 4. So for him to go over 4.5, even in his career, even over his last 20, he's only gone over 4 strikeouts in 1, 2, 3 times, like I said. And 2 of these times, actually all 3 of these times, have been at home. So he's yet to kind of hit the over on this, I believe, on the road in his career. Let me see this real quick. Yeah, he's yet to go over this line on the road in his career, and just an extremely tough matchup. Again, listed at 3.5 on most books. I think this maybe has a chance to bump down to 3.5 here. But yeah, Matthew Libretour, I gotta fade him here against the Rangers. We just faded Adam Wainwright, and he finished with 3 strikeouts. I even think Libretour is a less strikeout type of pitcher than Adam Wainwright is. So again, I'm fading Matthew Libretour here against the Rangers. I just don't think the statistics back it up for him to get more than 4, and we get that push security blanket here at 4. The second play here is going to be another strikeout prop. It's going to be Hunter Brown, and I have to take his over at 5 strikeouts. at five against the Blue Jays. Now I know it's a tough matchup here. We take a look at his last five. He's over this in 4 of his last 5 with 8, 9, 10, and 8 strikeouts. Again, 2 of those games coming against Oakland, who do strike out a ton, obviously. But let's get into why I like this play. It's just too low for me, in my opinion. I think it is the best value on the board at 5. So Hunter Brown, he's listed on sportsbooks over 4.5, minus 160, minus 230 on FanDuel, minus 193 on Caesars, minus 190 on DraftKings. So we're looking at Hunter Brown here with a minus 200 to have at least 5 strikeouts. That is what his line is currently at. Right, so Hunter Brown, you can take a look at over his last 10 starts. He's gone over this line in 8 of his last 10 starts, dating back to the beginning of this season, right? April 9th, 7, 5, or he's at least 5 strikeouts, sorry. Pushed this line or gone over this line. Obviously, this is at 4.5. If we move this to, 5.5, right? That would be over 6, so 5.5. You can see the hit rate still is very, very strong for us here. 7 of his last 10 games, he has hit the over on this line. And it's not like the Toronto Blue Jays are just this impossible team to strike out. We look at starting pitchers' game log this season versus the Toronto Blue Jays, right? And we look at strikeouts, we sort this. I mean, there's been a good amount of pitchers that have cleared this line, right? I mean, we're talking about at least push potential at bare minimum, right? I mean, we're talking about, it's debatable that Hunter Brown has some of the best stuff here on this list. I mean, in comparison, pitchers like power pitchers that get Ks, McClanahan, Taj Bradley, Spencer Strider, Luis Garcia, Garrett Cole, all cleared this line against Toronto, right? Hunter Brown's stuff is swing and miss type of stuff, right? We take a look at his game log. He's done this numerous times on the road, actually. He's had this in this season, five times on the road. He's actually hit this more times on the road than he has at home. And then we take a look at this lineup here for the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, there's potential Ks in this lineup. Kiermaier, Varsho, Chapman, Belt, and Bichette all strike out over 20% K rate against right-handers. And you can see here, I mean, 27.6% K rate for Hunter Brown this season as a whole. So he got the swing strike percentage is over 10% here. The first strike percentage 64.1%. I like Hunter Brown here. I think it's too low at 5 flat. Obviously, massive value on the books here for him to go over 4.5 is minus 160 on BetMGM, all the way up to minus 193 on Caesars here. So great odds for us here for Hunter Brown to at least push this line. So yeah, that's going to be the second play here for the MLB. It's going to be Matthew Libretour under 4 strikeouts, Hunter Brown over 5 strikeouts. Again, these are the 2 MLB plays. Let's get into the WNBA plays. Let's get right into it. So the first one is going to be a wagon for us, honestly. And this play is actually bumped, but I'm still going to be playing it here. It's going to be Magbegor over 30.5 fantasy. You guys know this has been a wagon, and I absolutely love playing this play here when it is kind of this low here. So we take a look at Ezzy. She's over this in 2 of her last 3 games. She just played the Sparks on the road, had 29.8 fantasy in that game. But in that game, she didn't score or have any statistical points in the last 5 minutes of the game, and she also had 4 turnovers in that game. Finished with 14, 9, and 3 here. We take a look at Ezzy's games at home here versus New York and Dallas. She's played extremely well. Cleared the over on this pretty easily with 36.9 and 45.8 against the New York Liberty here. So I like Ezzy here to bounce back kind of at home. It is a great matchup versus the Sparks, who, again, 2 opponents, allowing the most blocks to opponents, the most blocks, the third most points, and the most blocks, the third most points, and I saw another statistic that they're allowing a ton of the second highest field goal percentage to opponents. So it's a great matchup for Ezzy Magbegor, who has been seeing pretty steady minutes. I mean, 30-plus minutes in 3 straight games now, 35, 38, and 33. This does have a pretty close spread as well, 3.5-point spread, so the closest spread of any game today. I expect she's going to need to play a ton of minutes with that big front court, the Wnba sisters that the Sparks do have here. And at 30.5, again, this was a smash play at 29.5. It bumped up while I was kind of doing my research for this video here, but I am going to still play it here. I think, again, she finished with 29.8 with 4 turnovers. In that game. She just has 1 less turnover in that game against the Sparks. She hears the over on this. So At home, hopefully turnovers should be down here. I definitely think she gets a little bit more minutes in a closer game at home as well, close to 35. I know Jewel Lloyd, like in that game, she took an insane amount of shots in that game to kind of keep them in it. I'm not really sure if that'll happen again as well. I mean, we take a look at this. Jewel Lloyd took 26 field goal attempts. Ezzy Magbegor took 8. So I definitely think they're going to try to spread the ball around a little bit more. Ezzy was also the only plus player on the floor in that game at +2. So I expect, obviously, the coaching staff to see that, give Ezzy a little bit more usage in this game. So I like her over 30.5 fantasy score. And then the second one here is going to be a first half prop fantasy score. And again, this is a play we took, I believe, on Friday. And it did cash for us. It's going to be Candace Parker over 11.5 fantasy. Now, she did have a horrible game here against Indiana with only 3.5 fantasy points here, but before that had hit this line in 4 straight games. And I definitely think here this is a matchup for Candace to exploit in a matchup of 2 of the best teams in the WNBA. The Sun are 6-1, the Aces are 6-0. This is obviously a rematch of the WNBA Finals last year. Obviously, Candace Parker wasn't on the team. This has a 5.5 point spread with the highest over/under on the day. When we take a look at Candace Parker here, she is playing around 13 minutes per game in the first half, which I think she should get a little bit more minutes in this game. Obviously, with it being a primetime game, both teams, both of the two of the best teams in the WNBA rematch of the finals. I definitely think both these teams want to win, so I can see Candace Parker playing close to like 14 to 15 minutes in the first half of this game. Obviously, I feel like they've been saving her somewhat for this matchup. But we take a look at this matchup. It is a decent matchup, right? To forwards, the Connecticut Sun allowing the 4th most points to forwards, as well as the 4th most rebounds to forwards, as well as the 4th most field goal attempts to forwards. And it's kind of forwards have been playing well. We look at Candace Parker. She did face Connecticut Sun in the semifinals last year when she was with the Chicago Sky, and she had some pretty monster games. I mean, 19, 18, 5, and 4 steals and 6 blocks, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. I mean, she was filling up the stat sheet here in that matchup against Connecticut. Absolutely. I mean, she had 7, 5, 4, and 10 stocks through 5 games, against the Connecticut Sun last year. So it is a great matchup. And then we take a look at kind of like other bigs against the Connecticut Sun. We saw Satu Sabali have 26, 14, and 3 steals. And Natasha Howard in that game had 11, 5, and 2. We saw Jessica Shepard and Nafisa Collier. Jessica Shepard had 11, 12, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And Nafisa had 30 and 4 assists, 2 rebounds. And then we also saw Leah Boston, a young player here, have 20 and 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And then Alyssa Smith had 14 and 15. So we've seen these 2 combo bigs, similar to how the Las Vegas Aces play with Candace Parker and Asia Wilson. We've seen bigs have massive success here against Connecticut. So I like Matthew Libretour under 4 pitcher strikeouts, Hunter Brown over 5 strikeouts, Ezzy Magbegor over 30.5 fantasy, and then Candace Parker over 11.5 fantasy in the first half. Again, 10,000 subscribers, you guys. Appreciate everyone. Drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.